Xiang Tian, I approached you on 2 different occasions to debate me, and I even offered to pay you to debate me, but you still refuse. So this video I dedicate for you.
Let us start scrutinizing Xiang Tian's climate rally speech and the ISG climate rally. This video will be a critique of climate idolatry in Singapore. So let's start with his first coherent point. Most of his speech are just emotional exaltation, which I will not dive into, and he cannot prove them. So let us try to deconstruct what is actually coherent.
Households only contribute 6% of Singapore's carbon emissions. Industries contribute 60%. It makes no sense to me that we are told to switch off our lights when not in use. But no one has ever told Jurong Island to switch off their lights.
So Xiang Tian wants to switch off the lights of Jurong Island. Xiang Tian's first complaint is about government and businesses asking individuals to take action against climate change. As cited, household only contributed 6% of carbon emissions, while industry contributed 60%. Assuming that these numbers are true, the problem with his complaint is in his incompetence in understanding how the economy works. On the left, we have individuals and household. On the right, we have companies and industries using oil, gas, and coal. Generally speaking, companies and industries provide goods and services to the household. Companies and industries also provide wages and careers to individuals in the household. In exchange, individuals give their time, labor, effort, mental labor, skill sets, and energy to companies and industries to produce goods and services. Punishing and criminalizing industries through taxes and regulations will only make it harder for industries to produce goods and services. It will also make it harder for industries to provide wages and careers for the individuals. I don't know why I have to spell this out for Xiang Tian, but it seems like I'm arguing with people with very, very low IQ scores. This is a rough overview of the economic sectors that comprises of the Singapore economy. So about 25% are producing goods. That includes manufacturing, construction, and utilities. About 75% of them are service industries. The biggest are wholesale trade and finance and insurance. So which sector of the Singapore economy should be punished in the name of climate change? The correct answer is none of them. Fossil fuels, oil and natural gas make our everyday products. That includes computer monitors and keyboards, eyeglasses, crayons, credit cards, phones, toothpaste, and artificial limbs and life jacket. And on the right here, we have 142 other products made from petroleum. And if we just focus on the medical sector itself, through fossil fuels, it is possible that we make MRI machines, we make pacemakers, we make IV bags and tubes, we make surgical instruments, we make monitors and stethoscopes, we make artificial limbs, we make hearing aids, we make glasses, we make antiseptic spray, aspirins, life-saving pharmaceuticals used by emergency care doctors and physicians. And these are some of the everyday petroleum products that you use when you go out of the house. Moisturizer is a petroleum product. A brush and comb, they are made from petroleum too. Hair color, if you dye your hair, you're using petroleum on your head. Mascara, they are made of petroleum and animal products. Dentures, if you need them, they are made from petroleum. Lipsticks, they are made from petroleum. Nail polishes, they are made from petroleum. Perfumes, they are made from petroleums. Lip balm, to prevent your lips from cracking, they are made from petroleum. Deodorant, after a long day of work or sports, you use deodorant, you're using petroleum products. Vitamin capsules, for you to stay healthy, for you to stay supplemented. The capsules, they are petroleum products. And look how clean shaven Ho Xiang Tian face is. He used petroleum products to shave his face. Soap for him to clean every day. I assume he bathes every day and he uses soap every day. So he uses petroleum products every day. Toothpaste, I assume Ho Xiang Tian also brushes his teeth every day. So he's using petroleum products on his mouth every day. Contact lenses, if he uses them, they are made from petroleum products. And even shampoo, I assume he washes his hair every day. So every day he uses petroleum products. And according to Vaclav Smil, who wrote the book How the World Really Works, he said that civilization are being propped up by 4 pillars. And these 4 pillars are concrete, steel, ammonia, and plastics. So in the world today, in the context of the world today, our civilization need a lot of concrete, steel, ammonia, and plastics. And these 4 pillars, they need a lot of fossil fuels to make them, to produce them. Fossil fuels is the foundation of our civilization. So let us listen to Ho Xiang Tian's second most coherent point, or second point that he's making.
Singapore only wants to take responsibility for the 0.11% of the world's emissions. And that is always the reason cited for our lack of climate action. But we ignore the fact that we are the world's 5th largest refinery export hub, or that the fuel we provide to ships and planes emit almost 3 times of our own national emissions.
So yes, Singapore governments only suggest that Singapore contributes to only 0.11% of world's emission. And he's saying that our Jurong Islands, we export fossil fuels to the rest of the world. And if we add up all the oil refineries exports, if we add all the fuels that we provide to ships and planes, they are 3 times more than our islands' emissions. And that will give us a drum roll of 0.44%. Just to give you how trivial 0.44% is in the full context of world problems. Just to give you how trivial 0.44% is in the full context of world problems. So I'll use the Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, the IHME. So what the IHME do is that they are the world's largest scientific collaboration, and they do this study called Global Burden of Diseases. And the purpose of this study is to quantify health loss worldwide. They want to know, or the purpose of the study is to know how much people are dying from different health causes. So if you scan or if you click the link, it will bring you to a very interactive chart which you can see for yourself what people are dying of. And they have the latest data updated to 2019. So it's pretty good. It's pretty recent. So according to the IHME, climate death is only 0.095% of total death. People suffering from the climate, according to disability adjusted life years, is only 0.138% of total dailies in the year 2019. If we take 0.095% of total death, people dying from the climate, times 0.44% of Singapore's total emission, we are only responsible for 0.418% of total death. If we take 0.138% of disability adjusted life years and times it by 0.44% of Singapore's total emission, we are only responsible for 0.06% of total suffering according to disability adjusted life years. If Singapore stopped using fossil fuels tomorrow, we are not going to stop world's death. If Singapore stopped using fossil fuels tomorrow, we are not going to reduce world suffering by much. If we stop using fossil fuels, tomorrow, we are not going to save the world. And if we compare global warming to solving poverty, and mostly through fossil fuels, solving poverty is 70 to 80 times more urgent and more important than fighting global warming and climate change. If we add up all the poverty related death and suffering, they are 70 to 80 times more. It's very, very difficult to be a medical researcher. It's very difficult to be a doctor. It's very difficult to develop a cure for cancer. It's very difficult to solve poverty. It's very difficult to solve institutional challenges within third world countries so that they can prosper. All these things are very difficult to do. And however, to be a climate activist, to be an environmentalist, to cite lies, to exaggerate a small problem into a big problem is a very easy thing to do. And if we look at the whole of human existence for 200,000 years of human existence, depending on your belief system, but for a very, very long time, we depended on the environment for our existence. We ate from the ground, we lived in dirt, we lived less than 30 years old, we did not have access to healthcare, comfort, and convenience. We were hunted by animals and we are not protected from the climate. Only in the last 200 years, we start using our brains to convert black glue on the ground into fossil fuels energy, that we convert them into usable energy. And as a result, there is human flourishing. Over the last 200 years, we experience travels, we experience automobiles, we experience cruise travels, we experience computers, mobile communications, and most of all, we stay in buildings where we are protected and sheltered from the climate. And let's examine how climate activists like Xiang Tian can rise up to the occasion to be a Greta Thunberg. Activism needs unsatisfaction. Satisfaction means no problem. No problem means no purpose. No purpose means no self-worth for the activists, measured in terms of attention. Since they can't solve world problems like solving poverty, curing cancer, and becoming a medical researcher, becoming a doctor, since it's very difficult to do all these things and they are not competent to do all these things, it's easier for them to be a climate activist. So if there's really no problem, or if they can't solve any real world problems, they have to make up fake problems. Problems are the career path of activists. And if there's no problem, there's no activism. If there's no problem, they have to make up problems so that they can be a successful activist. And let's observe their performative moment of silence. They claim that they care for the environment, therefore you should pay for their belief system.
None of us wants to be worrying about the climate crisis, but we don't have a choice. Let us now take a moment of silence to honor all that we have lost and will lose.
And observe the Climate Wayang, the performative Climate Wayang. Because of their bleeding heart, you should endure some suffering.
Be falling towards the direction of your home. We will trigger the die in now. In 3, 2, 1, starting from Florence. Allowing the body to surrender yet staying present.
So it's not written within the language of environmentalism to appreciate human achievement, to celebrate human lives or to be grateful for human ingenuity, or to be grateful to fossil fuels. Environmentalism is a very, very primitive belief system. It's a very, very primitive cult. It's a very, very primitive idolatry. Look at this picture. This is the Aztec sacrificial ritual, sacrificial ceremony, and the priest, the high priest, is sacrificing someone, and he's looking at the sun. So it's a very, very primitive way of thinking. And if you observe the environmentalists, they are like that. Over the last 53 years, if you observe the environmentalist language, if you observe their behavior, if you observe their claims, environmentalists are always the first to introduce blame to humans and humanity. Number two, environmentalists, as a solution, environmentalists will introduce suffering measures and austerity to humanities, to humans, in hopes of solving climate change. Environmentalists want you to pay for their belief system. It's called the climate jizyah. If you get scammed by SMS calls or WhatsApp calls or WhatsApp messages or emails, you pay for your own gullibility. But it is different. Environmentalists get involved in politics so that you can pay for their belief system, for their gullibility. When environmentalists care for the environment, when they believe in a climate catastrophe, they want you to pay for it. So what the climate jizya looks like? It looks like tote bags. It looks like carbon taxes. It looks like net zero commitments, which are very, very expensive. It looks like metal straws and metal utensils because you can't use plastics. It looks like all these inconveniences. And it looks like ESG consultant that starts from 200,000 per year per consultant to cleanse your company of your carbon sins. The most constructive advice that I can give for my government is that government have to realize that the climate narrative and environmentalism is anti-humans. Take a stand against anti-humanism because this will have very, very practical effects. With the right ideas, we will have the right policy space for the right policy to be implemented. And with right policies, we will have good results. With wrong ideas, like environmentalism, like anti-humanism, wrong ideas will lead to the wrong policy space being created, will lead to the wrong policy being pushed, and wrong policies will lead to bad results. This is why we cannot have nice things.